Dear learners, welcome to SWAYAM NPTEL course on Library Automation and Networking. This is week 5, module 5, Computerized Information Services. Lecture number is 22, Bibliographic Services. Dear learners, we have seen that there are different types of services in a particular library. Irrespective of the type of library, we can provide any kind of services to the users. So as we know that libraries normally they do the circulation procedures, that is the ultimate work in which normally a particular library does. So when a traditional library or a contemporary library, so in both the cases transaction or circulation is very important. So apart from providing a reference service, you need to provide the circulation also, where the people will be able to come to the library and they will be using the resources within the library as well as their own comfortable places outside the library. So these are the services which are part of our daily routines, or this particular procedure or the process we call it as automation procedures, where we do assistance of computers to perform all the housekeeping activities of a particular library. So when we talk about services, there are many services we provide, like reference service, circulation service, maintenance service, periodical services. So each and every session they are taking care of different services to the particular user. So how these services are different from one to other is based on the nature of duty in which they are performing or the nature of activities they are performing. So when we talk about additional services like reprographic services and additional service, or digital library services where you are providing digital resources to the particular user, they can come and access the resources which are available in the library or outside the campus. So these are all additional facilities. So there are some set of such kind of services which we do either in demand or in anticipation. So we have seen that there are different types of categories of services. Either it can be a demanded services or an anticipated services where you are expecting that this particular person will come for a particular service, so you will do this particular service for that particular person. There are some occasions that you are giving a service only for a particular person or can be a group of people, or sometimes only a specific subject, or sometimes it can be a multidisciplinary services. So apart from all these, one of the major service in which a particular library provides is bibliographic services. So what do you mean by bibliographic services? What are the characteristics of bibliographic services? Why do we provide such kind of services to users? What are the advantages? What are the limitations? What are the tools, techniques which are used for providing bibliographic services? We will be discussing in detail. So why this particular technology necessitates? Because as we are migrating from traditional libraries to non-traditional libraries because of the compulsion or the advancement of information, communication and networking technologies. So we need to migrate from the traditional libraries where we do not have any kind of a computer assisted activities to a machine assisted or computer assisted activities in a particular library, where we call it as automated libraries. So the services also, how the traditional services you have been given for a particular user, it has been completely changed from the old traditional library mechanism to the modern libraries. So we have to provide some kind of an additional services expecting that this particular service will be highly beneficial for the users. So bibliographic service is one of such kind of a services where a library can provide for the users. So when we talk about bibliographies, it is related to the content of a particular resource. So the organization of the content is very much important. So when we talk about bibliographies, it is something which is related to a content. The content can be, size can be different, the material can be different, format can be different, and sometimes the organization of the content can be different, or even the extent of content in which you are going to provide will be different. So bibliographies are some kind of a content organization in which how it is necessitated because of publication explosion and the demand from the users as well as the availability of technologies. So these are the major three factors which mainly focus on this particular bibliographies service, where you are organizing the content in a particular format so that people will be able to get their desired result. As we know that the information is huge, the size of the libraries may be less, so keeping all the resources will be difficult, and even if you keep all the resources without any organization, so that will also be a difficult task for users to find out a particular resource, as well as there are many materials which are not purchased by the libraries. So there are resources in a particular subject area of interest of a particular user available either in the library or somewhere else. So what we need to do in a bibliography or a bibliographic service is we are accumulating all such kind of a resources or in terms of their details. That means you are combining the details of that particular resource which are available in the library or not available in the library. So you are making a compilation of all such kind of resources in a abstract formats or a bibliographic formats where only the necessary details will be included, and you are compiling that so that the user will be having a particular document which comprises of all the information which are related to the publications or the resources available in his or her interest area. So this is the concept of bibliographic services. In the other way, it is filtering all the resources in a particular area of interest from a large volume of resources which are different disciplines or different types and sizes. So the major advantage of having such kind of a compilation, users can get pinpointed or exhausted information in which he or she is looking for, as well as it can considerably enhance the quality of research as well as education. So when you go back to the particular terminology, bibliography, so actually this particular word has come from two words, that too from a Greek word. Biblion means book, graphein means to write. So the meaning of bibliography is writing of books. So it is something, the technology or the compilation which is related to books. That means it is not only the writing of books. So once the book has been written, how do we compile the details of such kind of books, because it is not only a single book. There are many such kind of a large volume of books which are available in different parts of the universe. So how do we compile all such different types of books in a particular criteria, either with a subject or with a title or with an author's interest or area of interest? So any mechanism can be used, but how do we bring all such kind of resources in under a single umbrella? So that is the concept of bibliography. So it automatically lists out, or a systematic listing of all the records will be there, whether it is in a print media or non-print media, or whether it is available in the library or not available in the library. So everything will be compiled in a systematic manner so that the retrieval will be easy for the users. Or it is one of the effective mechanism or the methods for disseminating the intellectual resources which are scattered at different parts. So what is the major advantage in that way? It brings all together, as well as you can have a comprehensive coverage. So otherwise, if this particular service is given only in the library, you will come to know that as the catalogs are available, you will come to know that these are the books which are available in my area. But how do we know that there are hundreds or thousands of such kind of books which are available in my area outside the library? That means in other libraries or other parts of the world. So for getting that kind of details, bibliography is very much important. So it is giving a comprehensive coverage for your particular area of interest. So what is the need for bibliographic services? As we know that, as we have seen that it can largely enhances the research as well as the learning or education, and you can also access wide varieties of information because it is compiling all the information irrespective of its format or the nature in which how it is published. It also enhances the collaboration. So once you know that somebody has done the same kind of study, or somebody is working on the same area in which you are interested, so you can make a kind of a collaboration among them or collaboration between them so that you can make your research more efficient. So it is one of the other need of this particular bibliographic service is it helps in selecting a particular literature very effectively and efficiently as well as in an easy manner. So apart from this, you can access this particular resource subject wise, language wise, country wise, year wise, etc. So these are all the different types of filtration you can maintain so that you always have a freedom of selecting such kind of a resources or restricting your access or study in a particular geographical area or a subject area. Hence, it saves a lot of time of the particular user, and apart from that it will also help you to compare the growth of a particular subject area, or how much contribution a particular country has been given, or how much is the growth of a particular subject in a particular period of time. So these are all added advantages, or which makes a need of the bibliographic services, where a user will be able to find out more about his own particular area of interest in different dimensions. So once the particular user come to know that these are the resources which are available in this particular area of interest, so it also the other way enhances the physical utilization of the resources which are available in the libraries also, because that person knows that through bibliographic compilation these are all the resources which are available in my area and how many are available physically in the library, so that that person can utilize the physical material which are available in that library. So that way also it can enhance the physical resources in a particular library. Of course, it can enhance the level of awareness among the users about the availability of resources. Libraries also can use such kind of a bibliographic services as a techniques or a technology which can efficiently utilize its collections. And what are the features of bibliographic services? There are many features, but we can identify some of the major features, such as search functionalities, in which you can search a particular bibliographic database where all the compilation of a particular document has been done. You can search either with a title, either with a author name, or maybe subject area. So any of the permutation, combinations, mixing, or such kind of a search strategy can be used, so that your search will be very effective. And there are databases like bibliographic services which gives the full text of information. That means if a particular article is available in your library as a part of subscription, even if you go for a bibliographical details, once you get the bibliographical details and you feel that it is a article which is very much useful for your research purpose, so that can be easily downloaded if it is available in full text format. So that is also one of the features of bibliographic services, where you will be able to download and use the full text of particular resource. Apart from that, you can also manage citation, as many of the people are using this, and you can also use this particular bibliographical details so that it can control or it can efficiently manage the citations also. And of course, bibliographic services majorly it helpful in managing the resources as well as getting the alerts. So publication alerts can be also part of bibliographic services, where a new publication has come. It will give you a pop-up message saying that this particular resource has been published. So such kind of alerting mechanism also will help you as part of bibliographic services. And bibliographic services also will have the feature of interlibrary loan, because it is showcasing the details of a particular library in which you are compiling all the details of a particular resource. Apart from the title or the author, it gives the more details of that particular resource, so that it can enable the interlibrary loan between the libraries, so that the resource sharing can be possible, that can be supported with the bibliographic services. What are the major benefits of bibliographic services, as well as different types of bibliographic services? As we have seen that bibliography types can be different, like only a particular subject area, so that we call it as subject bibliographies. And there are bibliographies which are prepared as a part of national activities, that we call it as national bibliographies, which covers all the publications which are published in a particular country, like British National Bibliography in UK, also INB or Indian National Bibliography, in which they compile all the publication of that particular country, so that it is easy for you to find out a particular resource or an interest area in which all the resources are published within a particular country or within a particular geographical area, as well as the subject, where you can come to know that what are the resources which are available in a particular area of interest in a particular subject area. And library catalog also, we can say that one of the types of bibliographic services, where it provides all the details of a particular resource as well as the entire collection of a library. So it is compiling all the list of collection in which a particular library is holding, irrespective of print or non-print or periodical or books format. So you will be having all the details of all the materials which are in different formats, which are in different subject categories. It is always beneficial for you as a user to find out the details of a particular resource which comes under a particular subject area. And apart from this, international bibliographies also can be part of national bibliographies. Like once you combine national bibliographies, it can be an international bibliography, and sometimes it can be local area in which a particular subject or a language is associated with. So there are different types of combinations can be made to perform such kind of a bibliographic services. So as we have seen that there are many benefits, it can give a wide access to all the resources, it can save lot of time of the user as well as the staff, and it can give all the combinations like how the way in which you wanted to segregate based on the year of publication, the country in which it is published, the language in which it is published, or the order in which a particular publication has come in a particular subject area. So all such kind of permutations, combinations, or different kinds of segmentation can be possible in this particular bibliographic service. And of course it is a kind of an efficient mechanism which is very cost effective, and once it is made, it is easy for making the updation also, and it is very much useful for users as well as the staff. And when you look at the databases or bibliographical services of the modern libraries, they provide attractive user interfaces where users can search such kind of a details which are available in a particular database, as well as there will be many type of the analytical or visualization or data representations, so that people can download a particular area of research in a different types of formats in terms of visualization and graphical representations. So it is something like a interactive area or interactive portal where you as a user will be able to make all such kind of a different types of search strategies to get your result in a fine tune or in a more efficient and effective manner. So apart from that, the accessibility and discoverability, because all such kind of a databases or the services which maintain some kind of a standardization, so it is very easy for you to make some kind of an interoperability or kind of a collaboration among the authors or between the countries. So these are all very much possible in the case of bibliographic services which are provided in the modern technologies. So you can see that British National Bibliography, which is a highly established form of national level bibliographies which are covering almost all the publications which are published in a particular country, and as well as they used to have such kind of services in a weekly manner, so that the users will be get updated with the resources which are available in their country, which are published in that particular country. We also have such kind of a services, National Library of India, that is situated in Kolkata. So they also have the similar services, Indian National Bibliography, INB. So it is also a kind of a services in which it combines all the publications, especially the books which are published in the country as part of delivery of book acts. So one copy will go to the National Library which is situated in Kolkata. So they will be compiling all such kind of a resources which are available in the National Library. So it is a kind of a compilation or a bibliographic services where a user can get the details of all the resources which are published in a particular period of time, in a particular subject area or in a particular country. So once you go for a bibliographic service, there are some factors which have to be considered while you go for a bibliographic service. So there are many factors which we can see from the advantages and benefits, as it gives a wider access to the resources for all the users in an efficient and effective manner. So when you select bibliographic services for a particular user, so you should know the subject area in which that particular person is dealing with, and also apart from that particular subject, so what are the other sources in which you can have for getting the details for providing such kind of a services. That is also an important factor. And consistency of that particular database, suppose you are collecting or compiling the data in a bibliographic format, so that should have some kind of a continuation or updation or consistency in which the data is updated time to time. So then only this will be beneficial for the users. Accuracy and timeliness, that is also another categories where we need to consider as a factor which is affecting bibliographic services. Accuracy and timeliness, because the data which are available in this particular compilation is which is having some kind of a currency. So that currency is very much important. The current information should be given in a particular timeline so that it will be highly useful for the users. Of course, the accessibility, people will be able to use that particular resources which are compiled in a effective and efficient manner, so that the user will be able to make a search and find out a particular resources which are related to his or her particular area of interest. And one of the major factors which have to be considered while making a bibliographic service is cost factor. So how much financial involvement will be there for providing such services to a particular user in a particular category of services. So that is also be an important factor to be considered while providing bibliographic services. So when we talk about bibliographies, there are different types of bibliographic services. As we have seen that library catalog can be a bibliographic services, indexing can be a bibliographic services, indexing as well as abstracting services can be other category, and apart from that there can be indexing, abstracting or citation bibliographic services. So these are all different types of bibliographic services which can be provided to different categories of users. So when we talk about indexing and abstracting services, as we know that bibliographies normally make such kind of a compilation where they will be including the gist of that particular resource. That means normally how do we able to identify such kind of a resources with minimum basic details. It can be either author or the title or keywords, or up to that or maximum we can go for the details of publications. But when we talk about indexing as well as abstracting bibliographic services, it is a kind of bibliographic services where you provide such kind of a services. Rather than providing the bibliographical details, you will be adding the abstract of that particular resource in which is talking about the gist of that complete resources, in which all the terminologies which have been discussed in a concise format. So abstract, so once it is included, bibliography plus abstract, that we can call it as indexing and abstracting databases or bibliographic services. So in order to provide a concise summary of that particular resource, say for example when a particular person come to a library, when you search for a catalog, as we know that that book is already available, but how do we know that that particular book is useful for him or her or not? So for that we need to have some kind of a mechanism that what is there inside that is to be identified. For that either you can go physically and take the book and go through the books, that is one mechanism, but without physically visiting that particular area, you can considerably save the time at the one side. So you can check such kind of a details through a bibliographic, especially indexing and abstracting databases, so that it will be highly beneficial for the users before going to a particular location of a particular document to check the details of a particular resource. And it is not only giving the details of a particular or a single book, it is giving the complete details of the compilation of all the resources which are related to that particular subject area. So it is always beneficial for a particular user in order to get the details of a particular resource without physically going to that area, getting all the details including the bibliographical details as well as abstracting and indexing, that in a systematic or in a organized form. And there are many commercial agencies, they provide such kind of a services. Even library can make their own indexing and abstracting services, but there are many commercial agencies. Say for example when you look at Web of Science or Scopus, these two are the major leading indexing and abstracting or citation databases which are available in the scenario of library and information science normally. So where users can approach such kind of a commercially available bibliographic services where the cost is very high. But the services which are provided to a user is something like they can have any type of permutation and combinations to get such kind of a details in terms of indexing, abstracting, citation as well as visual representation, graphical representation, or any kind of such analytical combinations can be performed using this particular databases. Dear learners, let me conclude with this. There are many kind of bibliographical services. In short, the bibliographical services will be highly beneficial for any of the users which are looking for a particular resource in a particular subject area, and this is a kind of a technology or tools which we use to systematically or compile in a particular resources in a particular subject area or year of publication or country of origin. In that way, it will be highly beneficial for a particular user to find out a particular resource under their particular area of interest without wasting much time for searching for a particular resource. Dear learners, I hope that this particular session you could understand much about bibliographic services, what are the different types of bibliographic services, different benefits of bibliographic services, and what are the advantages and limitations of providing the services, and also how it can save a lot of time for the users as well as the library staff. Thank you.